The collar came off because only the collar was dirty. Washing a shirt in the 1820s was a day of work. It was boiling and lye and beating and wringing and drying and starching and pressing. It was done rarely, and shirts were expensive, and both of those facts were connected to a single observation. The observation is that a shirt does not get dirty evenly. The body of it stays reasonably clean under a coat. What blackens is the collar, where the neck rubs, and the cuffs, where the wrist meets everything. In 1827, in Troy, in the state of New York, a woman named Hannah Montague cut the collar off one of her husband's shirts, washed it, and sewed it back on. Then she made the arrangement permanent, collars that attached with a stud and could be removed. The idea did not stay in the house. Troy took it up as an industry. Within decades, the town had factories making detachable collars and cuffs by the million, and it was known as the Collar City. The collars were starched to a stiffness that is hard to imagine now, and there was a whole trade of laundries built around them. The detachable collar lasted about 100 years, and it ended when washing got cheap. Once a household could put a whole shirt into a machine, the reason for separating the dirty part disappeared. What it left behind is on the shirt you are wearing. A modern shirt has a collar band, a strip of cloth, around the neck onto which the collar is sewn. That band exists because collars used to button onto it. There are shirts still made today with a small hole at the back of the neck for a collar stud that no longer exists. The turn-up at the bottom of the trousers is mud. Streets before paving were mud in any wet month, and long trousers dragged in it. The response was obvious and required no invention. You folded the bottom of the trouser leg up, twice, out of the wet, and you unfolded it when you got indoors. Somewhere around the 1890s, tailors began sewing the fold in permanently. The fold had stopped being an action and had become a feature of the garment, and once it was sewn, it needed a name. In Britain, it is a turn-up. In America, it is a cuff. The credit is usually given to the future Edward VII, caught in rain, turning his trousers up, and being copied because of who he was. There is no contemporary evidence for that story, and it belongs with the other tailoring tales in this episode. The shape is real, and the anecdote is not documented. The permanent turn-up brought one real advantage with it, and it is the reason it survived when the mud went away. The extra folded cloth is heavy. Weight at the bottom of a trouser leg makes it hang straight and stops it swinging. A tailor will tell you this today is a reason for a turn-up on a heavy wool trouser, and it is true, and it was discovered by accident from a fold made for an entirely different purpose. So the bottom of your trouser leg carries 2 extra inches of cloth folded back on itself against a street surface that no longer exists. The patent on jeans is for the rivet. The most copied garment in the world is protected by a patent that has nothing to do with the trousers. The cloth was not new. Heavy cotton twill had been woven for a long time in Europe and then in America, and it was the ordinary material of work clothing. The trouser shape was not new either. What was new was a metal rivet. Jacob Davis was a tailor in Reno, in Nevada, and his customers were miners and laborers whose trousers failed in exactly the same 2 places every time: the corners of the pockets and the base of the button fly. Those are the points where cloth is pulled in 2 directions at once. Davis began putting copper rivets at those corners, the same rivets used on horse blankets, and the trousers stopped tearing. He could not afford a patent on his own. He wrote to the merchant who supplied his cloth, Levi Strauss in San Francisco, and proposed that they file together. The patent was granted on the 20th of May, 1873, and its title is about fastening pocket openings. Not about trousers, about the corners of pockets. The name of the cloth is a separate puzzle. Denim is usually explained as a worn-down form of a French phrase meaning serge from the town of Nimes. The words line up neatly, but the chain of evidence connecting the French cloth to the American one is thin, and careful historians say so. The other half of the name is easier. Jean is a cotton fustian associated with Genoa. The rivets are still there. On a modern pair, you can find them at the front pocket corners, doing the job they were patented for in 1873.